Hey everybody, how's it going?
Hey, hey.
Um, Hendrik, did you have any items you wanted to add to the agenda here? No, we've had stuff on the agenda the past couple weeks, but haven't been able to get to it.
Um, no, I don't think so.
Okay. I think there was talk about like the maintainers' privileges and code owners. Did you want
Oh yeah,
to talk about
that's
that?
that. Yeah, but I'm not prepared for that. I was, but that was like 2 weeks ago or something. So
Okay.
let's put it on the agenda for next week. Then I will have a look and show it next week. Yeah.
All right. Let me just give it another minute here. All right, we'll probably go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone. Kind of short agenda today. We just have SDK updates, and then I wanted to start going through the collaboration hub PRs every meeting, so we can maybe get some discussion on those. Um, so to start with the updates, I see Evilo's on the call. Did you want to give it a JS update?
Yeah, sure. So basically, for the past week, we worked on the 1313. Like Rob probably knows, I tried to run so it's under high vault of transactions, so we can simulate the high volume entity creation. But with the command that I forgot the guy's name, but he gave us one command that sends a lot of NFT transfers. This couldn't reproduce the high volt souls mode. So yeah, for now we'll just be checking if setting the high volume flag to true, if the fee is higher than without it. I don't know if Rob, you have any more information. If there's any other way that we can check this.
Yeah, well, I see Keith on the call. Keith, I don't know if you saw our messages about the end-to-end testing for 1313. It looks like the the load that Solo is able to apply, it doesn't really fit with the transactions we want to test for 1313. It looks like we can only uh, apply like crypto transfer loads. So I don't know if you had any other thoughts on what we wanted to do there, or if we can discuss offline.
Yeah, I think the question was, can we take that framework and then add new tests? Did we, was there an answer on that one?
Well, so I think that the tests we were talking about were running uh, crypto create against a network under high TPS. but in order to that TPS also needs to be crypto creates. But Solo is only able to do crypto transfers to simulate that high load. So yeah, so I guess if we wanted to talk with the Solo team to see if we can uh, have it be able to simulate crypto create as well, that's an option.
Yeah,
Eh,
so basically, sorry.
No, no, please go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, I was doing some investigating, and I don't think it would be an issue on Soul's side. For some reason, they only have NFT transfers, but I think they could also add. Uh, so the command is called rapid fire, and basically sending rapid fire transactions that execute NFT transfers. And if they can create a small script or something like this, a small test that can execute this high volume account crypt create transactions, that would be good for us.
I guess the question, why do we need this? I mean, this whole team is pretty busy right now. I mean, it's all open source. I mean, can't we see what the test is doing and modify the test?
Yeah, actually, I can take a look at that. It's in JS, right? Or is it in Java? Does anyone know?
I do not
I think
know.
it's I think it's in JS.
Yeah, if it's in JS, I can contribute and create our own tests. I will check what the NF transfers do, and I can make a PR if they're under high load. Where we have a war load right now, so I can contribute.
Great. Yeah, that's awesome. So that'll solve our 13 tests problems, it sounds like. So the SDKs will then be able to. So if we get this new feature implemented in Solo, well, quote unquote new feature, we'll be able to do this end to end testing ourselves. And then, Keith, once we do that, like, are we just gonna like report those test results to like consensus node and just say
Uh,
it all worked
just
properly, or
I mean, we'll report the test results in the HIP 1313 Slack channel to the entire group.
right?
I just want to make one of the comments like, I mean, again, Solo's open source, right? So you don't even need to modify the tests in the official repo. You can just modify the test on your local machine, run it, and then report the results out, right? I mean, it's up to you. I mean, if you want to add tests in the repo, that would be probably better. But
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we're able to get them working on our local machine, might as well contribute in case anyone else needs to use it or has a use case for it. No, that's just my thought.
Actually, I can create it. Now that I think about it, we don't even have to. No, actually, we have to merge it. I was thinking that we could potentially not even merge it. We can just create a PR about it. But yeah, so I will take a look at this. I'm not sure even if we need the sole team to do anything, we can just create a branch with the new tests, and then we can. No, okay, this might be a little bit more of our engineering. Okay, I'll give an update after the call. I have to check this.
Yeah, I guess like if this ends up being a lot of work, like
No,
uh,
it wouldn't be a lot of work on our side, but if they have to review it, and we will create even more work for them. And I was wondering if we could I could just create the script that runs this test, the script to create tests, and we will just not ask Solo to review it and approve it, and then merge it. But I was just trying to basically kind of ignore the Solo team, so they don't have to do anything about this branch.
yeah, if we get it working ourselves and then are able to run the test, then at the end we could just be like, hey, like we did this thing. Do you guys want it? And then they can
Yeah,
either say yes or no.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's my idea.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
And one more thing from our side. So for the good first issue initiative, decided that we can also basically we have this thing called dependabot. It bumps our packages with new versions, and we decided that we can create a good first issues about each dependabot PR. So it won't be just typos, but they can actually contribute good stuff to the SDK, and it will be both beneficial for both sides. So that would be great. We also did some CI optimizations. We had some unoptimized processes that built the SDK on each step, and we didn't need to build the SDK on each step. And yeah, I think that's from our side. I think. Oh, also we had an user that contacted us in Discord. I think Rob knows about it, but I also tell the other guys. Um, some of our examples in the playground were broken, and he was asking me if he does anything wrong. So yeah, we can, if anyone can basically ping whoever is responsible for the playground examples, if they can basically check it.
Yeah, I reached out to Ed about that, and I haven't heard anything back. But he is at least aware that the playground is having issues. Um, yeah, I had the guy that reached out to me message him, and yeah, actually maybe I'll double check on that today to see if Ed has reached back
What
out.
what issues is the playground having?
The examples weren't working. For example, some of the variables were duplicate. They were basically uh, redeclared, so it was throwing errors when someone tries to run most of the examples. And yeah, another issue was that one of the examples needed the user to explicitly set one of the environment secrets in order to run the example. And the user said that before, like a couple of weeks, it wasn't like this. You just pressed the button, it was working. But now it requires the user to specifically set his private keys or account ID. Yeah, it was account ID. Yeah, Anjo also
Okay,
noticed.
so I just want to clarify, like they, because I never had problems with playgrounds, so this is something they changed something and introduced some breaking changes, or these were problems that maybe were always there.
Uh, it's not really a breaking change because the playground is just for users, but it is throwing syntax errors every time a user tries to execute an example.
Okay, I mean, there is a dedicated Slack channel for a playground. I can add Robert and is it Ivan? I can add Robert and Ivan, and yeah, it'd be great if we could highlight all the issues there. You said you reached out to Ed, Robert. Was that just on a one-on-one?
Yeah, I just messaged him and got him in contact with the person that reached out to me on Discord. But
Okay,
I
okay,
haven't
I'll
heard
I'll
anything
connect you
from
guys in
him.
the Slack channel because the whole team that manages the playground is on that Slack channel.
Should we consider making a playground Discord channel as well, so then people can go in there and post issues?
Sure, we can raise that to Ed.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Because if people are just reaching out individually, yeah, I think it'd be good to have a channel. All right, cool. So that's JS. I can give updates for C++ and Swift. So for both of those this week, I finally went through and updated everything in there for hooks with the new names. Got the yeah, the new names integrated, the and just making sure that all the tests still worked and everything. So everything is good to go there and ready to merge. And honestly, that's pretty much it. I was kind of pulled every which way last week. Didn't really get to work much on the C++ automation stuff I've been doing. Hopefully, I think I'll get some more time this week. Um, but yeah, it's definitely on my priority list for C++ there. Um, and also, well, maybe actually no, I'll bring this up afterwards. I don't know if anyone's seen the discussion about the single maintainer path forward in I think it's in actually is it here? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this was brought up because I might be the only maintainer on Swift here soon. So if anyone wanted to go look in here, I think we're gonna bring it up to the TSC tomorrow about path forward for single maintainer repos. Um, but anyways, yeah, this was brought up in relation to Swift. So yeah, maybe we can talk about that after.
Yeah, so how does the Swift SDK work if you're the only maintainer? Who do you get approved from?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're gonna try and figure out. So Simi has been approving my PRs, but she is looking to not be maintainer on the SDKs anymore,
Yeah.
and we don't have any contributors that could potentially we could promote to maintainers at the moment. So the two ideas that I proposed at least was to get a designated approver, whether that's just like, I put the GitHub maintainers group here, or someone else, or add a bypass for me pretty much until we're able to get another maintainer. Um, so yeah, so I think Jessica and I are gonna talk about this a little bit more, and then I think we're gonna take it to the TSC tomorrow and try to find a path forward on that.
Okay. We might have a similar issue in the Java SDK. Yeah, because there might be only one maintainer soon. So yeah, we might
Okay,
have a similar issue there.
gotcha. Yeah, they uh, yeah, Banco might want to join the TSC meeting tomorrow then.
Actually, we have a national holiday tomorrow. It's our basically Liberation Day, and we have a national holiday in Bulgaria.
Oh, oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, I can update him then on what happens there. Speaking of Java, was there any updates from Java or Go or Rust?
Well, for Java, I think they merged the receipt and record fall over. Basically, a user can, um, uh, if the receipt fails, it will pass to other nodes, and it's set to a new flag. I think Dosi can give an update on Go.
In the Go SDK, sorry, in the Go SDK, we merged the same thing with the get receipt. We added a new get receipt function with a flag. And I'm almost ready with the 1313 heap. And I investigated an issue that is a bug for query, but it is like uh, a bug that was like year ago. So in the newer versions it is fixed. So um, it is no problem. And I tagged the guy that made the issue, but he didn't reply yet. So I didn't close the issue.
Uh, Well, for such issues in JS, we wait 2 weeks and close it. I close it with a comment saying, I close this issue due to inactivity. Please reopen this if there are any questions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's usually a pretty good practice that I've been following too. Um, cool. Anything on Rust? Do we know what's going on there?
Yeah, give me a second. I can check my notes. Give me 1 second. Oh, for one, I just remember that he merged a lot of dependable stuff. This is George merged some dependable stuff, and he also yeah, I found the note. Oh, he added the soul environment stuff. It's commands that it's basically a markdown file that explains how to run soul. I don't know what else he did last week. Yeah. Also, he updated the examples to use ECDSA, and I think he also implemented the receipt and record for over mechanism. I
Oh,
think,
okay, cool.
yeah, I think that's pretty much from his side.
Yeah, I think he mentioned he was maybe trying to start doing good first issues in Go and Rust, I
Yeah,
believe. I
yeah,
think
also that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think he went through and like updated like the labels and stuff in Go. I don't yeah, I'll have to double check with Rust though.
yeah, exactly. He did that also, and I'm not sure if he made the same for Rust, but I can't seem to find it. Oh, actually, he made it in Rust too. Yeah, I just found the templates.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's good to hear. Hopefully we'll start getting some new contributors there.
Well, at least he has the templates, but does he have the labels? Yeah, I don't think he has the labels, but he has the templates.
Cool. So it's a work in progress at least.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
Uh, are there any other SDKs?
Well, I was gonna ask if Python had an update.
Can you hear me okay? Roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the Python SDK, we've had a really big backlog for a handful of weeks, and that's kind of slowing us down. We're just working through the backlog, just reviewing things mostly. But this week, I think we merged the TCK server, Rob. So I think we're going to need a little bit of guidance with where to go with that next.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the big things I've noticed. Also, we've made further steps to start adding more of the triage team to get involved with the reviewing in an automated way. So we've been slowly adding to the workflows to be able to like paste in labels and stuff like that. We tightened up our spam guards as well. And what else? Yeah, we've got new pull requests that are like extending functionalities and stuff like that, but we've noticed that some of the base files have a couple of problems. So what we might do in the next few weeks is like go back to review some of those basic files and yeah, check that's as good as possible, and then sort of find a way of making that backwards compatible as well. And then yeah, because we've been focused on like adding new stuff, but I think we should probably fix a couple of bugs in some of the core files. Yeah, I think that's mostly it. I think Angie's on the call, right? Angie, is there anything else that you think? Oh, we also prompted CodeRabbit with the protobufs. We found CodeRabbit has a web search functionality, so we did some tests, and it kind of reads the hash graph protobufs. Not 100%, reliably, but it actually is doing quite well in many ways. So that should help protect us against, it takes a long time to review pull requests, like as a human, checking that all the names are the same for all the different many lines of changes. So yeah, we think that could be a good help.
Oh, so it like so when you like are implementing like a new API, it makes sure that the API name like kind of matches the protobuf.
Yeah, and like the types and things like that.
Nice.
So yeah, it has to be a list of account IDs or whatever, and it will roughly be able to figure that out.
Yeah, that sounds really good. That helps protect against like yeah, like mistyping something and having to deprecate it and creating a new one. Um, when you mentioned you were having problems with the you said the the base files. Are you talking about like the base classes like executable and transaction?
So right now we have a pull request with transaction records. For example, we noticed some of it wasn't 100% like the proto. So for example, the NFT and the token IDs were like handled separately, and there was one section where the list was appended to, and another one where it was overwritten and stuff like that. So yeah, we haven't really like investigated too far into core files and seen it, but I think I did see something kind of like that maybe in transaction. Um, yeah, I haven't had too much time because I've been focused on reviewing through the backlog, but yeah, those just kind of like raised our attention that we might need to double check some of them. These are test pass and everything, so it's stuff that has slid through the checks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this was something that now that you have the excuse me, now that you have the TCK server implemented, I think once you get the uh, method handlers implemented for those, I think having that will catch a lot of these little uh, inconsistencies. Because I we'll be
Yeah,
able to see if like they actually conform to what the test is looking for, and make sure the behavior matches and all that.
yeah. So we'd appreciate like as much guidance in that as possible.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're just finding things out, and we also have a pull request for fuzzing to implement fuzzing, um, which was brought up in the maintainers call. I think it's very basic fuzzing, but that's also already seemed to have picked up on a couple of things to do with like very large H bar values. So yeah, maybe we will be able to expand our fuzzing over time as well.
Yeah, nice. That sounds good. Um, when is your Python meetings are on Thursday, right? You guys are still doing those?
Yeah, the community call is Wednesday, 2 p.m. UTC. I think it's this week. So that this week and a couple of weeks,
Okay,
every fortnight.
gotcha. Yeah, I'm thinking I could maybe come to that meeting and do like a TCK kind of walkthrough. If you guys think that'd be helpful, like just show how to run it, how to set up, how to look through the tests, what things we should be looking for when we're implementing method handlers on the Python side. Do you think that'd be beneficial?
Yeah, that'd be super.
Okay, yeah, I can plan on doing that then. You said Wednesday? Well, I'll just look at my calendar.
Yeah, Wednesday, 2 p.m. UTC.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I can drop by. All right. Any other updates from anybody? Otherwise, we'll jump over to the hub here. All right. So we have quite a
I noticed. Yeah, I noticed in the C++, I think you had been working on hips quite a bit. That's something that we've done very lightly in Python. I don't know if that would be something you'd be able to talk about as well, to just like give an overview of like what hips you've been working on. And
yeah, sure. Yeah, I think I can do that and kind of show because I think we had someone asking in the community about where they can follow kind of SDK features and updates. Um, so I can go over that and show kind of how we come up with these designs and implementations in the SDK hub here. Um, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how many people know about this repo, um, but I would like to yeah have more people know about it because this kind of should be like the entry point repo to SDKs. So all right, so maybe just kind of want to go down the list here of discussions in for these PRs. Hendrik, I know you have a couple here. Did you maybe want to go over yours first and just kind of give maybe a brief overview of what these are
Oh,
doing and see if there's any discussion?
absolutely. So most of them are regarding, or I think all of them are regarding the work of a possible version 3 SDK and the language, meta language specification and language best practices for that. Um, so this one just add um, some additional information about namespaces and how the meta language looks like when you access anything coming from a different namespace. So
Okay.
really kind of straightforward because I think any example that is currently open use that and I was like, oh yeah, we totally missed talking about that. So this now adds this access of external namespaces. So it's really like adding the namespace everywhere when it comes from another namespace. That's what this change does, and then adds a little bit about how to do that in the general documentation with an example. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think this makes sense. I haven't had a chance to look at this yet,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
uh, yeah, if we're defining namespaces, then we need to show how to access them. So I think yeah,
Yeah.
this is good.
Second
Also,
one is not from me. That is from somebody who wants to contribute to the Hedera hackathon, where we currently have an Hiero bounty open. And I'm in contact with that person on Discord, and he would like to work on a Rust-based SDK for Mirror. And I showed him what we currently doing, and we discussed that it would make sense to create an API or to draft an API for mirror node clients in this meta language before he starts doing an implementation in Rust. So what he did is in this one adding in the meta language an API that yeah provides everything that is needed to do queries against our mirror node.
Okay, so these APIs are going to be mirror node specific.
Yeah, it's like if you scroll up, it's in a mirror node namespace kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. There
Okay.
was only some things like the basic address interface and stuff like that that is used from our common layer. Yeah, and as you can see, I did a review last week on that and currently waiting on feedback on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to look through this too. I did an initial kind of look through, and it seems pretty good. Um,
Yeah. I mean, I have not checked like are all the values in it or whatever like so I have not checked. I think there was some information where mirror node returns a string where we could use like more specific data types than having a string, but next to that it looks quite good.
yeah. So I know that mirror node uses the open API. So did that? I don't know how much you talked to them, but did they just kind of see this as like a wrapper around that, or
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you could go and use this Swagger Open API code generator. But I did some Java tests with that, and the public API that comes out of that is not that good. No idea about Rust, to be fair, but so I showed him that, and he was directly, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea. I will create something." And then days later, we had this pull request. So yeah,
okay? Yeah, I'll definitely want to take a look through this. Um, Plus, I know like also for V3, the idea has kind of been thrown back and forth about like having like a mirror node
yep,
SDK, a consensus node SDK.
yep.
So thinking about if that's a path we want to take, kind of how this could fit in there as well. Because he is designing this for V3, right?
This is like yeah. This is in the V3 folder. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, as I like to say too, like I encourage anyone to, come in and look through these, because some are relevant now, some, may not be relevant, until we kind of start, looking to implement V3, but
Yeah.
having more eyes to look at these now ensures that, we get the design right.
Yeah. But regarding implementing V3, that is, I mean, we have it on the mentorship list, right? So I have one project proposal for the LF mentorship already written, and the second one, which is like V3 proof of concept implementations, will be the second one I hope to do today or tomorrow to have it written.
Okay. Yeah, I know for V3 as well. As I've been kind of looking and working through this block node document, I've been getting ideas of maybe how we can restructure our executable class hierarchy.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I've been kind of toying with that a little bit, and I'll maybe try and put up a design sometime soon about that.
Cool.
Um, yeah, 'cause I know we've have since V2 started, we kind of just had like a executable, and then that branches into transaction and query. But now we have all these different, we're gonna have block node queries, we're gonna have mirror node queries, we're gonna have streamable queries. So just ideas of how we can kind of structure that a little bit better because it's kind of turning a bit ad hoc at the moment. Um, but yeah, so I'll maybe put that up and maybe we can talk about it next Monday. For this one, HIP 1137. So we've been having some good discussion on this. And Hendrik, you've been a part of this. So 1137, for those that don't know, is just basically a way to register non-consensus nodes on the network. So being able to register mirror nodes, block nodes, JSON RPC relay nodes. So this just kind of goes through the design for SDKs from there. I think we're pretty close on this. I would like to get this merged here in the next couple days because I know SDKs have a new sprint coming up, and if we could start work on this, that'd be great. Hendrik, I don't know if were you able to look through my ideas here? Because I know you were talking about implementing factory methods for the service endpoints. Um, I don't know if you were able to look through this and had any ideas. Or any.
Yeah, I've seen you had one, and then more down you had a second. This one, yeah, I think this one is, or this is sums up, or is more way down another one. So I've seen. Oh no, yeah, then maybe I read everything. Um, yeah, I agree with you that whatever we do has problems. Either it's regarding we need to deprecate things or create more function, maybe methods like factories at the end than we want to. So my point of view here is maybe we should go forward with anything here, and then especially for V3, discuss how we want to handle that in general. Like, because that is not specific to the SIP, right? This is
Yeah,
specific to having future, how to say it, like having empty objects in the protobuf to be more open in the future that would look ugly in SDKs for an end user if you do it one by one today.
yeah. It's basically how do we make it as as least ugly as possible today while
Yeah,
still not shooting ourselves in the foot when
yeah, yeah.
new capabilities come down later. Yeah, because I know Joseph's been saying he's not exactly sure when mirror node RPC relay endpoints will be implemented. Um, and honestly, like I mean, like with V3, potentially coming later this year or early next year, whenever that happens. This I guess this could end up just being moot if we end up doing it a different way. Um, but yeah, I think I kind of like the idea number two right here. Yeah, I mean it's still empty classes, but yeah, I think I'm not necessarily sure if I like implementing something with the knowledge of being like, all right, well, this will work for now, but then if we need to add to it, we just need to deprecate it later.
Oh, my idea was to have those classes, right? So I've never said we should not have those classes. I said that for the
Oh, you're talking about like a factory method, right?
yeah, yeah, but this factory method creates those empty classes and sets them. Like, look at this thing. So you have like the last three lines of this endpoint type. No, 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 no. More like three lines above. that. No. In my comment in the yeah. Now
Gotcha.
that here you see you have those fields already there, so you will have the classes and all that. But we add static methods. I mean, you will have constructors where you set that, right? But we will have static methods that will allow one-off, either block node, mirror node, or RCP relay endpoint. And since two of them are totally empty, those static methods do not have a parameter. Or in some languages have a default parameter, which is just the empty thing. And maybe in Java have 0 parameter, and then later we add one with 1 parameter once we have internal fields, and deprecate the one with 0 parameter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
So it's a little bit of mix, you know?
right. Yeah, and I think that's something I brought up here. It's just like, with different
Yeah,
languages,
yeah,
those
yeah,
people
yeah,
play
yeah,
out everything
yeah,
differently. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Default parameters, for example, a very good thing to solve that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it makes
And
it so you don't have to deprecate it later.
yeah, exactly. That's the point, right? So,
Mhm.
I think for something like that, or maybe if you have default parameters, you do not even need a factory for it. Maybe this is something where we need to have more language-specific ideas how to do that by language.
Yeah.
But it should be somehow in the documentation. But anyway, for this hip proposal, I do not see any blocker.
Mm-hmm.
This is more about the future, what we're currently discussing.
Yeah. 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 And again, I think it's just like uh, whatever we do now, like if we're coming out with V3, within the year, I mean, we're just going to be able to redo it however we want anyway. So, um, okay. Yeah, so I pushed up changes implementing this. Um, and yeah, I guess if we're fine with that for now, we can go ahead and merge it. But yeah, I think this is something we should try and figure out going forward. Yeah, Keith.
Yeah, so I just want to bring up maybe a follow-up conversation. So I've always thought that the V3 talk was about a POC and exploration. Now I think what you're saying, Robert, is we're committed and we're going to do it within a year. Okay, I think we need to talk about how that fits into
Well,
2026 goals. Yeah, if we're moving from POC to engineering effort, let's talk about it.
Well, yeah. So I say that with the idea of, we do V3 POC and it, gets approved and it's, something we want to chase. Obviously, like if, yes, the timeline is still do a POC, talk about it, and then if it gets approved, then we're gonna go. But um, yeah, that's still the proper timeline.
Okay. I guess my other thought is like it sounds like you guys are going really deep. It sounds like we're going beyond a POC for V3. I would just say like at some point, sooner than later, we should do a check-in and make sure like this is something we want to be executing on in 2026. So like I don't know how far you guys would I mean, it sounds like you're taking the POC almost to like semi-production level. That doesn't seem it would seem to be if you guys have enough information, we should just bring the V3 proposal to and then figure out how it fits within 2026 goals.
I mean, I think we do two different things here. One thing is, yes, we discuss how the APIs should change, like where we had this really long discussion about public and private keys, right? So that is really V3 specific. The other thing we're currently doing, and this was more about this discussion, is creating best practices guidelines for the different languages we have SDKs for, how those SDKs should have public APIs, how we define public APIs in proposals like HIP proposals in future, and how to implement them then in the SDKs in a best practice way, which is for some SDKs really, really different to how it is done today, which means we could use it for everything we do, like in a month. Let's say, like in a month, we say, okay, everything new that comes must be written in this meta language when there is a proposal and must be implemented by using that best practices, which would mean that new things coming to our SDKs today would have a different kind of public API than the other APIs that those SDKs have. I don't know if we want to do that, but even for that, it could be used, like it should be used for SDK version 3 for everything, but even from some point on, everything we provide as proposals should be written in that meta language so that everybody can easy implement it and easy understand it. Because in the past we had a lot of things where, yeah, we have a proposal for an HIP and we have JavaScript code. And that creates then not the best APIs maybe in Go or in Java, and they look different than maybe the last APIs written in Go or in Java. And that is what we want to change in general. We concentrate on V3 here, but I think you could see that in general.
I mean, let me just, I spoke about this maybe 2 community meetings ago or one of our last meetings. I mean, our goal for 2026 is to transform the developer experience. So if we think that V3 is going to transform the developer experience, then great. I'm not so, I mean, I think it improves the Hiero developer experience. I don't know if it transforms the user, like the developer experience. So I'm just saying, like,
I think it
I feel like
yeah.
you and Robert are putting a lot of energy into this. This is great, but a check-in at some point would be good because I don't. We need to make sure like any effort we're putting in. We spent a lot of this call talking about V3. Again, that's fine, but like, I think we should do a check-in at some point that this is something we actually want to do.
So I think part of having that greater developer experience is doing what we're doing. If maybe we wrap the put the V3 wrapper around it, maybe a bit preemptively. Like this is definitely something we want to do and figure out for V3, but we also want to do and figure it out right now for just V2 SDKs. Like figuring out a way to make the APIs between the SDKs and have them designed for all of them, not just like, just for one or two of them, like what Hendrik was saying. And part of this, like obviously 1137 is something we're trying to do right now. But I think kind of going through these discussions and figuring out, having more discussion about how we want to design these APIs more optimally for all SDKs that are going to implement them, not just one or two, is something, yeah, we obviously want to do now, but also going into the future as well. So I guess, so, even for example here, like I mentioned, like, all right, so like we're gonna do this now, but like, when V3 comes down, like if it turns out that we come up with different best practices that say like, oh, maybe this wasn't the optimal way to do it, then we can just go ahead and change it, because if we're doing a different version, we can do breaking changes, and that's fine.
Yeah, and maybe regarding so I can understand, Keith, that you say, yeah, that is great for Rob and Hendrik and whatever what you are doing. But what about the end user? Actually, I would say we do it exactly because of that. So if you would ask me, I mean, if people give me money to tell others, yeah, this Java SDK that we have is great. I could do it. If somebody asked me about my private opinion, I would say something completely different. And I know people who have seen it and said, yeah, I don't want to use that. So I don't say that this is for any or for every of our SDKs, but I think so the Java one is where I looked really deep in, and I think there were so much things where, from my point of view, we either should go into deprecate a lot and do breaking changes within version 2 or go to version 3 and say like, oh, this is completely new, it's not compatible. Like not compatible in a way that you need to change your code and cannot, like just switch a version and it's working.
Well, let me ask a question, Henrik. I mean, we don't spend too much time on this, but like, let's say the biggest complaint I hear about our SDKs is, let's say, freeze. Will V3 fix freeze or like those kind of issues? Because that's the biggest complaints I hear about our SDKs.
What do you mean with freeze? That you need to freeze?
That you need to freeze, yeah.
Yeah, so that is a discussion. I think you were part of that discussion where a lot of people said without freeze, it is not really possible because there are use cases that need this freeze. What version 3 will do differently is that you cannot execute without freeze because you cannot call the execute method if you have not frozen before. It's like not possible at all to do that. That's a big difference. So today it's like you can do everything on one object, and you can do thousands of things in the right order, miss something out, and so on and so on. And with the API we have for V3 already defined, it is not possible to do it in a wrong way or miss something.
Okay. I mean, I think this just kind of highlights like, again, I think we always need to ask the question, what are the biggest user pain points?
Yeah.
Are we doing work that is addressing the biggest user pain points? Like, are we doing the most to move the developer experience? Are we trying to make our experience as developers better? And what are we prioritizing? I think, like, again, continue to work on the V3, but I think all of these questions will come up at some point, and it's just a question for you and Henrik. Do these questions come up now, like sooner rather than later, after you've invested even more time and effort in this? Because I would say you probably want to have this conversation sooner rather than later, because you want direction, whether this is something we want to do or not do, before you spend a lot more time.
Yeah, sure, Keith. I'm totally happy with it, and I can tell you that I'm at least once a week discuss that topic with Richard, because that's where it comes from. That I started that Richard wanted more or less exactly that as part of the developer experience. So from my point of view, everything we do here, even the thing we discuss with the meta language and so on, is for the developer experience because it will create consistency and better looking APIs. So, I mean, part of it will make our work more easy or will allow us to use more AI maybe within the work. Yes, that's a benefit. But the clear goal of that is to have solid APIs and similar solid APIs, public APIs in all our SDKs, so that the users have a direct benefit.
Yeah, I guess that's the part I'm missing, Henrik. I don't understand. I mean, because users don't look across our SDKs. They only look at the one SDK they are using.
Yeah.
So, like when I talk to individual users, let's say using the JavaScript SDK,
Yeah.
this is not, I mean, I'm curious how the V3 work maps to their day-to-day experience.
So, okay, yeah. So I think the big difference, or let's say like there are some specific differences, like I said now with the freeze, right? Those are just make the APIs more robust, more better, more understandable, and more easy to use. That is one thing. And The V3 idea does that in a meta language so that we can do it in any SDK, like the Java SDK, by using the best practices of JavaScript. That is the idea. And um, at a lot of places, our SDKs do not use the best practices of the underlying language. So the goal is to have a general meta model that is the same everywhere, but implement that with the best functionalities and best tools that the specific language provides. Maybe Rob, can you go into click on code to just give an idea of it and go to guides? And here, if you click to the API guidelines, the generic one. So this is a generic guideline that says like, hey, if somebody wants to propose a new feature for an SDK that has a public API, please use this language that is defined here, so this syntax, to define this new feature so that everybody can read it, that it's well documented, and that it's clear to everybody. And if you
Yeah.
now come to give me a second, to the best practices Java, which is super, super long. So if you scroll down, this is now the definition on, hey, how should something that is defined in this meta language be implemented in Java by using the specific Java interfaces, by using specific asynchronous functionalities of Java, by using the best practices of corrections in Java. How is null handling in Java? How should that be done in our SDK, and so on. And at the end, we will have like what we see here for Java, like for every language, which then allows us to easily check when somebody does something in the SDK, even with an AI-based review or whatever, that it's really based on the best practices of that language. Does that help, or is there still a gap for you?
I think what we're still missing, I mean, everything I think you said is about how it benefits the Hiero developer experience, how it benefits the community who's building the SDKs out.
Oh
V3
no,
will
no, no,
cause a
no,
lot.
no, 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 no. Sorry. Yeah, okay, continue first, and then
Well, I mean, your average consumer just goes to the docs.hedera.com. They learn about they see some sample code on how to do a given transaction with the SDKs, and then they execute it. They don't look at the design, they don't look at the design docs, they don't look at any of this stuff, right? I mean, 99% of developers. So,
yeah.
the complaints that I've normally heard about the SDKs from, let's say, a tool is like, why are the SDKs so complex? Like, why do you need to do to do something that should be quite simple, like mint a token, you need to write up very complex transactions.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
is there a way to simplify the developer experience? So I would just say, like, as a PM, I think we're always looking at that. Like, how do we improve the end user experience? And if you're really adamant that V3 improves the end user, when I say end user, I mean the developer experience. Okay, I just think that argument needs to be fleshed out.
Yeah. So two things. Can you scroll up a little bit, Rob, to this a little bit more? Oh no, down. There was this toString. A little bit more down. Stop. So what you see here on screen is people will hate it. People who develop SDKs will hate it because this creates more work for people to say like, okay, how can we each and every object that is part of an SDK easily put down to a readable string representation? This is now the Java part. So if you dump something out, it's really readable in logs and whatever and so on. And this is not something that helps SDK developers, that is something that will help the people who are using SDKs to have things more readable, more understandable, and so on. And this gives an idea what you need to do with every new feature, with every new class, to have everything as good written as possible. And there are a lot of things in that. And where I agree with you too is that how to, let's say, like, oh, I want to mint a token. That is a lot of code. So we try to, with V3, implement more fluent APIs that will make the code easier, but it will be on this level never as easy as an end user wants to. For that, we currently have this Java, how is it called? Hiero Enterprise Java, and I know somebody who's working on a Hiero Enterprise JavaScript project that creates a layer on top of the SDKs and create service functionalities where you have like, oh, I want to mine a token and it's just one method. We already discussed a lot, and I had a lot like discussions with Rob, a lot of discussions with Richard, and so on. If that should become part of our SDKs as a layer above. But independent of if that should come or not, we all agreed on that the core, like how to do transactions and things like that, must be written well better than it is today and must be defined well better than it is today. Because whenever you put something on top, the bottom one especially must be, like more solid. You want to have everything more immutable and so on and so on and so on. And so I think that goes all hand in hand, and I'm 100% believe that we have the same goals here. It's more than we starting here from the ground to get everything up and you looking from the top on it. Does that make sense?
Sure, but just to be clear, it's not about goals. I mean, I'm sure in goals, I would love to restructure all the APIs and make them all better and V3, but like it's about, we have an hour of Robert's time. Does Robert spend an hour of his time working on V3, or does he spend an hour of his time working on like this enterprise thing you just described? Sound amazing, and I think that is what a tool wants. Like, is it an hour on that, or is it it's a question of finite resources and what we spend time on, not about goals.
Yeah. It's yeah. I agree. So and I think we currently work at all those different parts. Like the other parts are, for example, not part of the SDK because it's today not part of the SDK. Like we've just seen somebody is working on a mirror node SDK and trying to create how should an API for that look like. That is Rob added it to this call because we had this PR. I would not even have mentioned it in this call because for me, first of all, it's like a did SDK outside of the SDK call, right? So it totally is part of developer experience. Agree on 100%. I have not seen it in the SDK call. Maybe that's the difference here because in this SDK call we concentrate exactly on that, and for sure we then talk exactly on like, oh, how to create this meta language and how to make those small things in the SDK in version 3 better. That this is part of a way bigger picture, and the goal that we want to achieve is to have as easy readable and writeable code for developers who use our stuff. Maybe it's not clear when we talk about it, but that's for sure absolutely the goal here. Maybe we should do a developer experience session where all that comes together to see the bigger picture. Maybe that will be helpful.
Yeah, so we're 11 minutes past. It was a good discussion. Yeah, good discussion, guys. We'll end it here and catch you next time. Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.